Okay, when we get the camera, first thing we're going to find out is what camera it is and what lens it has. So some of the cameras have a 135mm lens. So we can take our camera out, right? And in our box we should have a number of things. We should have our changing bag, our film canisters, an empty box, and also our own film. This is our practice film, just for illustration. And finally we should have a shutter release. Some things to check when you get your camera. Make sure that the tripod bushing is perpendicular to the monorail. So the lens arrow on the tripod bushing indicates that it would be at an angle to the monorail, but for best operation, make sure that this is perpendicular. The easiest way to hold the camera is with the standards, right? Or the monorail itself. To tighten the tripod bushing, use a key to rotate the nut clockwise. The dark slides have two sides and hold two sheets of film. You can write notes on this part, but most people won't. They have a safety catch to keep the slide in place, but most people won't use the safety catch. It's more inconvenient. To indicate that film is unexposed, we show the white part of the slide. To indicate that film is exposed, we show it black. And to indicate that it has no film in it, generally the easiest thing to do is to have it half open with the black side exposed. The Manfrotto tripods consist of a number of parts. We've got the head and we've got the legs. The legs can be extended quite far. There's a part that's controlled by this knob, and then also there is an extending leg within that that's controlled by this knob to give over 3 meters of extension. The tips of the tripod feet have rubber bungs that can be extended, and they're best for the interior. The spikes are used for exterior. When using the tripod, it's best to extend the leg by about 1 foot, then level the tripod using the tripod bubble. After this, we level the tripod head so that its bubble is level. Use the hexagonal plate. Place it on the tripod head. Make sure the safety catch is engaged. Press the safety catch closed. To open the tripod, release the safety catch pin and then pull the safety lever out whilst holding on to the camera. Okay, the movements of the camera. To focus the camera, we use the focusing rail, and we can focus with the back knob or with the front knob. The distance between the plates of the camera will be approximately the length of the lens. So if the lens is 150mm, then the distance between here and here will be 150mm. We don't tend to use the scale on the monorail for our calculation. We can use a ruler. We tend to use the back knob because if we use the front knob, we're bringing our lens closer and further away from our subject, which we generally don't want to do. So we use the back. Also, it's easier to find the back knob. So when focusing the camera, typically what we want to do is increase the contrast on our ground glass. So we can put something dark over our ground glass so that we can see. The movements of the camera. The camera has a number of movements. There is vertical shift on the rear standard, vertical shift on the front standard, horizontal shift on the rear standard, horizontal shift on the front standard, tilt on the front standard, tilt on the rear standard, twist on the rear standard. When we get the camera, we should always check that our standards are in the 0 position. That will measure 0 when we receive it. We can also check that it is at 0 by listening for the click. We should be particularly careful to check that our twist is at 0 and our horizontal shift is at 0.